Okay. Ooh, that is lagging bad for me. Let me just do this. Does this work? Whatever, we'll just do this. Alright. I have to freaking reset a bunch of stuff, which is annoying. Anyways, hello everybody. My name is Chrono, and I will be your commentator today here for CRL. We are here in Monaco for round. I actually don't remember already. For round 8 here in Monaco. Yeah. So I am your commentator, Chrono. Again, there I am right there. No co-commentator. I should have actually removed that, but whatever. But yeah, we're just gonna get started. Well, soon, hopefully. I don't know when. But overall, I've actually never commentated for a league race here in Monaco, so this is gonna be interesting to see how this goes. Um, and yeah, it's just gonna be interesting. Make sure my stuff is proper over here. Actually, that can stay up for the race. This can stay on. This has to stay on. And is this gonna be? Yeah. I don't know why this never is. This stuff never saves. I don't know why. Whatever. I can move it, but like it's just annoying. So annoying to have to do this every time. And that happens. King Chrono. Hello, Louis. I really have to figure out how to make this save because this is just so annoying when it just doesn't save. I might just have to make my. Oh, I can make my own profile. Okay, well here's what we're gonna do. During the race, I'm gonna actually try to fix stuff quickly, make it proper, and then save it as its own thing because I think that's the problem. That most likely might be the problem. Everyone has really weird connections. Initially, I can make my own. Your fave, Jordan. Thanks so much for the follow. Hugely appreciated, brother. So if I create, okay. Oh, okay. So that does work. Okay, so I should have figured that out beforehand. But yeah. But it seems like so we're gonna be a little bit delayed just by a tiny bit, mainly because it seems like some people are actually having some internet issues, which is understandable. Also, the one thing that sucks, I can't do direct game capture with these things. But let me try it again. Hold on. If I turn on game capture, turn this off. No, see, it looks like it's bugging for me, and I don't like it. Is this frozen? No. I could change it so it has this. I need to figure out how I can make this work. But yeah, we're just a little bit delayed. So we're just gonna have to wait a little bit. I guess while we're here, I could actually adjust some things. So I could try to make it a little better. Why does pressing apply it just doesn't work? Readying up in less than a minute? Perfect. But yeah, you guys can't see it currently, but I am kind of changing up some what the hell happened to my thing? Well, people should be. I'm trying to adjust some stuff and make stuff actually work. I don't know why it just refuses to. Alright, there we go. I hear the timer. Ah, I see. Okay. I get it now. I see what I'm doing wrong. I was pressing apply and without actually pressing save layout. So hopefully now it should be working. And there's still some other stuff that I actually have to make. I have to do some changes. Sure. This could be a little smaller. This could be also a little smaller down here. But here we are, and it's raining currently here in Monaco. So this is going to be very interesting. And now I actually need to. Sorry. I need to switch this back over here. Someone's already left the session, so I'm not doing that good of a job commentating for right now, but we are going to get started on that. Oops, I closed out of this. There we go. So here we go. We are going to get started now. Who is currently out? We have... Can't tell currently, so I'm actually going to leave this off for a second just so I can actually see. So we're currently here with Louis. And we are in full wet, so clearly weather is not the best, and that's a little bit of a drift there. We're in Formula Drift right now here in Monaco. It's going to be really interesting to see how this is going to be. I will actually quickly turn on the track map to make sure that it's good enough, yeah. It's going to be interesting, though, to see how these drivers are actually going to be able to get on with this. It really will be interesting to see. And now I'm actually going to quickly just turn this back on. There we go. Unfortunately, I don't think some people actually changed the the thing, unfortunately, so I can actually see some of their icons, but that's fine. That's the battery, which is not meant to be there. Ugh. Stressful times. Let's see. Let's go back with Louis here, see what he could possibly do. See what he can do on his flying run. Let's see. There's going to be some people coming out of the pits, so he's going to have to try to avoid those guys. See exactly what he can do. But again, majority of the drivers are on wet tires. Some of them are on inters, which is very interesting to see. Some of them on inter tires. It's really gonna. Can't speak. It's gonna be interesting to see exactly how this is gonna go, especially here in Monaco. I've actually never seen a wet race here in Monaco, but he's gonna get caught up a little bit by the Williams up ahead, and that is just not good. And he kind of has a little bit of a slide there. Is he gonna hit the Williams? No, he doesn't. Thankfully, but that would have been horrible. Little bit of a lockup there, seems like, when it comes to braking. But overall, it seems he's not doing too bad. Has the fastest first sector, but of course he is the first one out. So first ones are always going to get the fastest. Fastest second sector as he's just pushing it through there, and that's a little bit of a drift there. But overall, he's actually handling it pretty well. And ooh, a little bit of a tap with the wall there. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys are going to do if the conditions continue here. Exactly like this, but we finish off with a time of 1:29.807. Not that bad for a first lap, but there could be definitely improvements. There definitely could be some improvements here. Yeah, a lot of the drivers aren't even actually showing their thing, which is kind of unfortunate because I actually can't even use this. I actually have to not use and actually go into this mode right here, which unfortunately makes me see that, which I don't want to. Well, let's see who's currently on a fast lap right now. I think are we watching them? It's hard to tell. Yes, we were. We were watching them right here. The number 21. As Emmanuel actually now gets the fastest time of over 2 seconds. What in the world? It actually kind of amazed me how fast some of these guys can go on a wet track like this. Overall across the line now, and what is that going to be? It's going to be P3 for the Ferrari driver with a 1:29.414. Not that bad of a time, I will be honest. I really can't seem to get anything good. Now let's go on with Pastry Smasher as he's most likely on a lap. We're going to see what he can do. Is he on a lap? It seems like he is. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. Car number 47, grid penalty for minor collision. Interesting. Jordan with the fastest lap with a 1:27.025. Actually, pretty damn good, I will be honest. Pretty good. Now let's go on to the Alpine of Zebra Gamer here. See what they can do. What could they pull off? Could they pull off something going over the curb? But I think that might have actually been an invalidator run. Is that? No, it's not. But they're going extremely slow through here, which is understandable. But he puts the power down, a little bit of wheel spin, can't seem to get the grip. But what does that get him to? That puts him into 8th position with a 1:31.0.9. As Rocco in the Racing Bulls is the closest of getting a 1:26, getting a 1:27.007. Absolutely unbelievable from the number 25 Racing Bulls driver. Let's see. Anyone else currently on a run? Hard to tell. W overlay. Thank you so much. Some of the drivers are not going into the pit. Understandable. 11 minutes left here in Q1, ladies and gentlemen. 11 minutes left. Hard to tell sometimes if some of these drivers are going on a fast lap because the overlay's not up. A little bit of a wall tap there for the Ferrari driver, as Yaro now starts their lap. The Rebel driver, who has actually not yet set a lap time, their teammate Vince K has set a lap time, but let's see, can Yaro respond? Let's see exactly what Yaro can do. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly what they can do around here. Again, this is one of the drivers on the Inter tires, which is very interesting. Majority of the field are on wets. I can show right here. As you see for tire, well, actually, majority of them are now on the Inter tires, but earlier on they were on the wets. So it's rather interesting to see exactly why they're changing. It still looks like it's pouring a little bit of a power slide there for the number 11, but overall it's keeping it pretty clean. Personal best first sector. A little bit of a caution in sector 2. It might just be a slow car. Williams now is going to be starting their lap. Let's see what both of these guys can do currently. It's going to be very interesting. I honestly thought there was going to be a little bit of contact with the wall there, but thankfully there wasn't. But now that's the fastest time by quite a bit. But the number 11 does unfortunately invalidate at that corner, which sucks. But Jordan, the first, not he didn't just cross the 126, but he crossed into the 125 mark. Absolutely unbelievable from the number 21, as we have a Williams who's currently out, and I feel like that Williams might be Fiora right here. Yes, it is. Seems like it is Fiora right here that actually is on the lap. So let's see what they can do. So far, it is a personal best for the first sector. Let's see. What is it going to be for the second sector? Is it going to be anywhere good? A little bit of a slide there. Slight tap with the wall. It is not an improvement in the second sector. Let's see. What can they do? 3 drivers now currently on their fast, going for their fast lap. 8 minutes left in the session. Let's see. What exactly can Fiora do? Where is it going to bring him to? Fiora now gets actually the fastest time by, I think that's 10 hundredths of a second. That is actually an incredible time. Now we actually have a Mercedes driver who's currently on their fast lap. Did we find them? Yes, we did. Emmanuel, who's currently on, obviously on their fast lap. Let's see what they can do here. Ooh, almost a contact with the wall. Little bit slow, but they're drifting all over the place. And is that an invalidation? Was that an invalidation? No, it's not. But they are still going strong. The number 37. Overall, he's not doing too bad. But let's see. What is the speed he's going to be coming across the line at? Looks like it was a 267 kilometers per hour, but it's going to be a little bit of contact with the wall there. And thankfully that is, well, actually I can't even tell from here, but it doesn't look like it's any bit of damage. Let's see who else is currently on their fast lap. We have a Haas here who has actually yet to set a proper time. So let's see what kind of time they can get with less than 7.5 minutes left on the clock. Turbo has apparently joined the lobby, but let's see, where can this get them? P9 and the Haas driver. Really fantastic stuff from the Haas driver. A little bit of skidding with the wall there. Again, the driver who currently has the fastest time is Fiora. Oh, actually, now it's Vince K with a 125.415. Okay, so I did not even see, my thing did not even show that someone was on a lap. That's fantastic. But I guess now at this point we'll just go down with Rocco and see what he's doing. They're most definitely on a lap. Let's see what he can do in number 25. It'll be really interesting. Very, very determined through that corner, which is honestly something I can't even do. A little bit of a power slide, really sending it around the final corner, and let's see where does he get to. It doesn't show my screen on what time he is currently at, but that sets him into second place. Now the fourth driver to get into the 125s. Let's go down to another driver. Let's go to the Ferrari driver here. Now as he's gonna start his fast lap, we're gonna see exactly what the Ferrari of HAMB can do. Two more drivers now join him to actually be able to start their fast laps. Let's see the Ferrari driver of J. Now he's still on the full wets. Are his tires good? They're a little bit worn, but other than that, they still seem pretty good. I would say pretty equal enough to be able to race. 5 minutes left in qualifying currently. And it's really going to be interesting to see what these drivers can do. They get around the Ferrari driver gets around the hairpin, goes a little bit wide, probably made a tiny bit of contact with the wall there. But overall, it's doing just fine. Jordan with the fastest first sector, absolutely unbelievable. Let's see what his response is. It's going to be really interesting to see their responses to see, how they're going to do. The Ferrari driver just a second up. A second up, but I think did he invalidate? No, I don't think he did, but oh no, I think he actually may have invalidated. Yes, he did. He has just invalidated. Let's see. Let's go on to Jordan quickly, see what he can do. Fastest second sector so far. He is flying in the Alpine as he's going to make his way through the final corner. Foot straight to the floor. What is he going to finish with? He is going to finish with an astonishing 124. Faster by over a second from Vince K. Absolutely unbelievable stuff from the Alpine driver. Absolutely incredible from the number 21 driver. As we go on, let's go on to where is he? Yaro for a second. He has yet to set a lap so far. First time he made because he invalidated, but let's see what he can do this time. Is he going to be able to finally get a lap in? It seems like he's actually going to get a solid lap in that will qualify him into P6. Not so bad. Let's see the Kick Sauber drivers. Let's see Shankly for a second. Let's see what time he gets. He gets himself up into P7. Let's see what Pastry does coming on the second to last corner and now the last turn here in Monaco. Let's see what can he get. The number 19. Let's see. What is this going to place him? It's going to place him into P6. Insanely good from the two drivers. Let's see who else is on their outlap so far. Suspension seems to be on an outlap, or actually, but they go up into P15. Turbo is currently on his outlap. Zebra Gamer now on their outlap. Let's go ahead and check them out and see what they can do. So they just started their outlap as another Williams driver starts again. It's going to be interesting to see what Williams drivers that's going to be. Is that suspension? No, it doesn't seem like it's suspension. It seems like it may actually be Fiora. Is it Fiora? Yes, it is. It is Fiora. Emmanuel apparently cuts the track and his lap is invalidated. Let's go to number 66 of Zebra Gamer. Fiora, I think, actually now has the fastest first sector. I'm pretty sure that it seems like they do, I think, a little bit of a contact with the wall there. The one thing that kind of sucks is I can't see entirely, their names because some telemetry options aren't on, but looking at the times from on the top right and then the times that I'm seeing, it's definitely Fiora. So currently they have the fastest first sector. Are they going to get the fastest second sector? Yes, they are, by over half a second. Let's see, with 1 minute and 49 seconds left in qualifying, they are full force sending it now. But car number never mind, the car not invalidated. So I don't know what that was about. I guess the numbers are kind of getting mixed up. Seems like it, but now that is a 123. A 123, which is an actual really good time. Now, as we go down to Turbo in the McLaren, seeing what he can do. Coming blazing quick out of the tunnel. Hard break. There's the dry line. That might be, yeah. Was that a corner cut? No, that wasn't. It looked like it was for me, but it is not. His lap is still going. Little bit of a slide there, but he's managing to keep it. Any contact with the wall? No. Pretty good so far from the McLaren driver. Green sectors of green 1 and 2 sectors, so not entirely that bad. Car number 77 decides to retire. Where is this going to place them into? This will place them into P8. 40 seconds remaining, and he just, well, okay. That's interesting. Well, we didn't need to see the graphics for that to know what happened. But let's see who else is currently on their lap. A lot of people now getting in their final lap. Let's go in with the Ferrari. Louis decides to retire from the session. Let's go on with MB. See what he can do. He's a little slower in the first sector. It's not a personal best. It's actually slow by a lot. In fact, a lot of the drivers are getting slow sectors. Rocco becoming the second driver to actually get into the 23s. You went out for your final lap too early. That actually kind of sucks. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. HB, he actually makes contact with the wall, so that will be a little bit of time. And he got the fastest second sector, but yet despite that accident, that actually gets him up in the P7. Vince K actually now currently with the fastest lap time. The Red Bull driver down in 9th. Let's see what he can do. What can he pull off here? Foot straight to the floor as we go down underneath the tunnel here in Monaco. As you notice, the driver's practically never using 8th gear. Here in Monaco, it's 7 is pretty much the limit. You never really go that fast to go up to 8th gear anyway. So it's going to be interesting to see both purple first and second sector for the Red Bull driver of Vince K. It's going to be interesting to see where they can place. Could they potentially get something lower than a 122.921? Well, it seems like for right now, it definitely seems like a perfect exit out of that final corner. Let's see what they get. What are they going to cross the line to get? And that is going to be a 122.8 on the dot. Incredible drive as the final driver to actually cross the line now is going to be the Haas driver of KZ Matty. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. They don't seem to improve at all, but that is that, ladies and gentlemen. That is qualifying, and I'm pretty sure it's just one qualifying. Yep, it is. So that is what your grid is looking like, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting grid for right now. It's going to be really good to see how the drivers do in the race. I'm not sure about the weather conditions in the race, but it's going to be interesting to see how it is. All right, but now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a 3-minute timer, 3-minute countdown. So we will be back when the timer, when we start. We'll start soon, or no, in 3 minutes. I was muted. Thank you for that. Rookie mistake. Sorry about that. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Louis already getting a puncture within the first lap. It really makes you wonder what happened. I can't do no replays, unfortunately, but yeah. And sorry about, I didn't know I was muted. I honestly just got home from school. So many things were set up last second. And, well, there was a fastest lap thing, but now we won't be able to see it because race control decides to bother us, which is fantastic. Love it when race control decides to bother us. And I am seeing nothing for... Okay, this is fantastic. For some reason, there's no game audio. What is... I had all this set up, and it's, like, just not working. All of a sudden, it just chooses to not work. But Turbo was in the pits for a bit. I'm not sure when I saw that. I'm not sure when that was. But so far, Vince K is currently in the lead. He's currently in the lead. He is leading the pack so far. There's already quite a bit of a gap. Quite a bit of a gap between the front, obviously, and the back. It really makes you wonder what in the world happened at the start. Really interesting, but let's go back to the teammate Red Bull driver here of Yarrow. I think that's her name. Yes, of Yarrow. So that's currently where they're currently in 4th position. They have not lost any places, it seems like. It does seem like they might slightly be pulling away or falling behind a little bit. That's the word. My brain is not working for some reason. A little bit of a late break, almost into the back of the Alpine driver. Some drivers already with 3-second time penalties. Louis deciding to go onto soft tires, which is very interesting very early on in the race. 39 laps we have here in Monaco. Pretty interesting. 3 drivers are already with time penalties. There might have been a little bit of contact there between the Red Bull and the Alpine, as the Alpine decided to went into ghost mode for a second. Little bit of a slide from the Racing Bulls driver right here, of Rocco. Little bit of a slide, not too much of a slide. Something going on in Sector 3. What's going on back there in Sector 3? Yellow flags are waving in Sector 3. There's an Alpine, most likely spun out probably. Another Alpine is in the pits. 2 drivers are in the pits, a Racing Bull. 3 drivers now in the pits very early on in the race. And that is a Mercedes in the wall, it seems like. A lot of these drivers, I think, got front wing damage, which is why they're taking a while from the pit stop. So it definitely seems like they got front wing damage, which is really interesting. Definitely is interesting to see that. Well, I mean, it's not uncommon, but it's also not something that you wouldn't really see. So far, other than a little bit of some accidents in the first few laps of the race, so far everything seems to be going alright, but a lot of drivers are getting warnings and time penalties for corner cutting and for track limits. It really makes you wonder how, for a track that's this tight, how could you possibly corner cut? I mean, I can think of some tracks, or like some parts, some corners where you can do that, but like barely. To me, this is one of those tracks where, if you corner cut there at the hairpin, it's still not going to be as fast as doing it the normal way. So it really just makes me wonder. Let me quickly just turn this off for a second so I can actually use this one just so I can actually see. A lot of drivers already with time penalties. This is very interesting to see. You never usually would see this amount of. Well, actually, no, I've seen more. Already the gap being quite a bit. The gap between first and fifth being around a second. Well, actually, no, being around 2 seconds. Or the gap from fifth to sixth being 12 seconds. Pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm tired. I'm sorry. Ooh, that was a little bit of contact with the Aston Martin there. Is that Louis once again? It was Louis. Does he have any wing damage? He has. Yes, he has rear wing damage as well. He has both front wings at 20 and the rear wing at 33, and his tires are absolutely getting cooked right now. So he is struggling. He may have to pit again, sooner than people thought. Getting something for 3-second time penalty for track limits for multiple warnings. Vince K, however, has a 2.5 second gap to Fiora in second place, and his tires are actually doing pretty good for 7 laps out of the race. Battery management still seems to be perfectly fine. 17 drivers on the grid, and I think almost half of them have time penalties, with I think majority of them actually having limits. And that's another one. That's car number 99. Oh, which is Vince K. So I guess he received a 3-second time penalty, or is that what it showed on my thing? I don't know. Or maybe he's on his last warning. He might be on his last warning, but overall, the pack seems to be pretty evenly split up. Pack does seem pretty evenly split up. Pretty interesting. So far we have from positions 11 and 17, they have all done a pit stop. And 2 of the drivers actually have hard tires. So they actually boxed early and switched over the hards. So they're going to have a little bit of an advantage, but considering, again, we're on Vince K, considering this is his tire percentage with the mediums, and we're going to switch over now to someone who's on the hards. Let's switch over to Zebra Gamer. Yeah, I mean, less laps, but he'll be able to push a little bit longer. So it really kind of just depends how it's going to be. Louis comes into the pits once again. Let's see what's going to happen here. Unfortunately, his rear wing is not able to fix. That's something that's rather unfortunate. Switches to a new set of mediums. So far, all but the entire top 10 has yet to pit. Everyone from 11 and lower have all pitted. Turbo now comes into the pits. Number 13, McLaren driver. Pretty solid pit stop with 2.6 seconds. Not entirely that bad, I won't say. A little bit of a slide there for Vince K. Fiora now comes into the pits. Let's check out this pit stop and see how it's going to be. Let's see, how is this pit stop going to be? Is it going to be a good pit stop? The game felt unnecessarily loud there. I don't know if that's me. Let me turn it down just a little bit for you guys. Actually, another driver that was in the pits was Rocco, for example, for a second. Let's check out interval gaps to see where people are. So, Yarrow, Vince K's teammate, now sits 5.3 seconds behind. quite a bit of a gap, if I'll be honest. Fiora sits 14 seconds off from Jordan. Tugger stands at around 10 to 11 seconds behind Shankly. And overall, the gaps are just kind of wild right now. Vince K comes into the pits. Yo, how can I stop yawning? Vince K now comes into the pits. And it seems like there's something. What in the world happened? Something going on for major collisions. What ended up happening? Do some of these drivers have any damages or something like that? Doesn't seem like it, but someone was handed a collision or a penalty for collision. Yarrow now gets into first place. Louis actually now gets the fastest lap of the race, but to be fair, he is on. Oh, never mind. He's on mediums now. Okay, I forgot. So he is on mediums. Shankly now comes into the pits. Well, I guess now he's coming out of the pits. I honestly thought that was going to be a little bit of an accident there, but let's see. The Kick Sauber driver now chasing the Ferrari driver ahead. A little bit of an accident or a little bit of a slip up from the Ferrari driver. Let's see, can there be any moves made? Not here, not at the hairpin. The hairpin is the worst spot to make any moves, but definitely had a little bit of a better exit. Could there be any moves here? He looked for it, but not enough space. Best overtaking spot is most likely going to be here in the tunnel. Had to let off a little bit. But let's see, is there going to be any moves on the inside? Ooh, no. Will not be any moves on the inside. Rocco gets the fastest lap of the race. Is going to be no potential overtaking opportunities. There are quite a couple of spots you can overtake, but they are very risky. Very close, though. Very close driving we have going on here. Not going to take that move. Definitely not here. But there could be something here. DRS now open. Battery is going to be using as much of it as he can. And he gets the overtake done. Teammate right there managed to actually get ahead of the Ferrari driver as well. So we have both the Kick Sauber drivers in P8 and P9. While J&B sits at 10th position. Lap 12 out of 39, ladies and gentlemen. We are lap 12 out of 39. So far, the only couple of drivers that don't actually have any time penalties, that being Emmanuel, suspension, and the 2 leaders. Oh, and JMB as well. Other than that, majority of the grid actually has time penalties, which is interesting. And currently more are kind of just being stacked and stacked, so and as we can see here, gap slowly closing in between Vince K and Fiora. Fiora right on the tail end, right behind Vince K, the leader, who's been leading since the start of this race. Now they're in the tunnel. What can they do? What can Fiora do? Can we see their battery? Yes, we can. Actually, no, I don't think that was a late break, but that looked a little bit corner cutty-ish, but race director hasn't said anything. Not a lot of battery. Not a lot of battery right there, but it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers can do. We may actually see some overtaking potential here, but it doesn't seem like we are because it's a little bit too far back and there's no battery usage being used. Vince K. Yarrow gets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:12. So both of the front runners, both of them on the hards. Vince K has 1 lap newer tires, so he can afford to push just a little bit more and stay out just a little bit longer as he kind of pushes ahead a little bit of Fiora. someone has retired from the session. That's a... The entire track is now yellow. Terminal damage by suspension. Unfortunately, we can't see that. I was really hoping we could see that. But the virtual safety car is now deployed. Is there any movement on track that's just stopped? Seems like it's in the pits. So that is one driver out, ladies and gentlemen. One driver out. And yeah, it's a little bit... Can't really tell for sure, but... It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with this VSC. So the virtual safety car is ending. We're going to pay attention to the front runners here in a second, as the track will now... In a little bit, let's see, the track will now go green, but someone does get some sort of penalty for speeding under safety car, which is not good, as Fiora was right in the tail end of Vince K. It's going to be interesting to see if Fiora can do anything. Vince K pulling away just a little bit from Fiora. I want to be completely honest. I feel like at the real Monaco Grand Prix would be like Max. I feel like Max is right, saying that he should have brought a pillow. But it also doesn't help that I am tired. But either way, so far there's really no other close battle besides this one, so we're just gonna kind of focus on this battle for now. Cause yeah. But it seems like, especially when it comes to Sector 1, it seems like Fiora can actually catch up quite a bit. But the moment we're in Sector 2 to Sector 3, that's when it seems like we're just kind of not... That's just when it seems like we're not really able to catch up anymore. It seems like halfway through Sector 2 is when Vince really just kind of speeds up and just goes quick with it. We're currently lap 16 out of 39. And then seeing all those yachts, probably Kimi Räikkönen somewhere out there enjoying his beer. But now, all drivers but 4 are having a time penalty. Let's do a little game to see who has the most time. So we have Zebra Gamer with a 16-second time penalty, but Louis does have a drive-through penalty. You know something I haven't done? I haven't ate anything. 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. And there's something. Are we going to be under the full course jello? No, we are not. I guess they just decided to leave the session. That's interesting. So that's 3 drivers now that are out of this race. We started with 17. Now we have 14. Yeah, like I said, there's not really any other battles other than these 2. Rocco goes into the pits. Is it a quick pit stop? Yes, it is, as Louis also goes into the pits. Now, the gap between Vince and Fiora now stands to a 1.3 to a 1.4 second gap. Vince is clearly pushing. pushing as hard as he possibly can. Their tires are evenly matched. Well, actually, Fiora's right rear tire is a little bit, and I think right left as well. Yeah. Vince having a little bit more of and oh wait, it seems like we're under, and that's another DNF. What happened? Yarrow. Seems like they have retired from the race. Vince is gonna come into the pits. I think is it the virtual safety car? Car 11 retired due to terminal damage. That is not good. Fiora did stay out, however. So the safety car has been deployed. The full-on safety car has been deployed. It's not a virtual safety car like before. It is an actual safety car. The full safety car is deployed. Oh no, it was just a VSC. I was wondering why the safety car wasn't moving. It said for me, it said safety car deployed. Unless I'm blind, it says virtual safety car deployed. But now we're here. We're back under a green flag, and I can't see who says that was speeding under the thing. Car number 21, drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. Which person was that? That was Emmanuel, unfortunately. So far, we have 4 retirements. We have 3 DNFs and 1. Well, actually, all of them taking their retirements. But now Fiora in the lead of the race, taking away the lead from the virtual safety car after Vince decided to pit. It's gonna be interesting to see. But what tires did Vince pit with? He pitted with fresh new hard, so he's gonna be able to most likely make a little bit more of a comeback. He'll most likely be able to come back quicker, considering Fiora's tires are 10 lap old. Vince's are just 1 lap now. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how they will do. Ooh, I heard that contact with the wall from Fiora. That did not sound that good. That was quite a bit of a wiggle. I don't even know what driver was that. And that's Fiora now having a time penalty for multiple warnings. And, ooh, that was a car behind, whatever car that was behind them just had a massive wiggle. I think that was a Mercedes. It definitely is a Mercedes. It was a Mercedes of Emmanuel. And he just had a spun. What tire? Oh, I can't even see what tire his tires are looking like. His tires are 10 lap old, and yet he is just formula drifting out here. Doesn't show that he has a puncture. But at the same time, I can't see anything here. But yet here he seems to be doing fine. But that was just a blatant corner cut. Probably did that just so he could try to get back into the pits. Yep, he does. That is going to be going into the pits for him. And in fact, the player behind it. But Emmanuel actually just now retired from the session. Okay. That's another player retired. Turbo went to the pits. at 7.9-second pit stop. I feel you, man. Monaco is a hard track. Oh my god, I am so tired right now. I feel like after this, I should just take a nap. There's still like another hour of this. That is 5 drivers now that I've DNF'd. Europa League final. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, but welcome. So far, the only two drivers that don't have time penalty being Vince and JMB. Every other driver actually having a time penalty. I mean, I've seen it before. A lot of times, actually. So the two closest battles we actually have here are the Haas versus Kick Sauber, and the second one actually being the Kick Sauber versus the Ferrari. But it seems like they have actually won their battles. But is that wing damage? That is wing damage for the Ferrari. That must have just happened literally the moment I looked away. I'm so mad about that. But also Shankly has some wing damage as well. And Maddie's diffuser seems to be a little bit damaged. I'm no mechanic, but that doesn't sound good. I mean, for right now, okay, well, that's the Sauber driver in the pits. Sorry for not talking. Like I've said a bunch of times, I'm really tired, and it's Monaco. I don't know what to talk about, really. Louis does get the fastest lap of the race, though. Pretty incredible. He has the pace. He's just unlucky, it seems like. Vince K does seem like he is slowly pulling in. Little by little, he seems to be inching closer to Fiora. He wants to get this victory. So what driver is being lapped here? There are two drivers that are ghosted. I can't tell. Oh. Were they even behind? Either way, there's a little bit of a battle going on here between Shankly and Tugger, so it's going to be interesting to see which one of them will be able to gain the position. Will Tugger be able to hold on to 7th place, or will Shankly take it, or will Shankly shank it away from him, as I should say. Now, all but one driver has a time penalty, and that being the leader for majority of this race, being Vince K. The man right here, he has yet to actually get a time penalty. That was a very brave move, and it really did work, but now Tugger's going to be able to have DRS in this next DRS zone, so he could actually overtake the position back. But he doesn't get a good exit at that turn. He does actually hit the wall a little bit, so he's not going to be able to catch up at all, which is obviously not good. But something I was saying earlier when it comes to Vince K, look at this. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing. It is definitely going down. Previously, it was at 6 something seconds. And now the gap has crossed into the 4-second mark. So within the last couple of laps, he has pulled 2 seconds, and we still have well over 10 laps left. But Louis has retired, and that is going to be a virtual safety car, unfortunately. That is not good. The virtual safety car has now been deployed. Again, I'll say this one more time. Sorry for not speaking so much. I am just extremely tired. And when I'm tired, I really don't want to really, you know. But it doesn't matter. Damn, Louis, that sucks. Barrier plus me equals kiss equals I die. A lot of the players not going into the pits, but the VSC is now ending, so the gap between... Oh, never mind. So, if you were to pit, I didn't even see that. But Vince now takes position. He now takes the lead back, and he currently does his tires are 9 laps old. And, well, seeing the condition they are in after 9 laps, he could actually go all the way to the end. He could very well go all the way to the end with these tires. And I wonder if that's his intention. I keep yawning. It is so annoying. It's like every 30 seconds I'm yawning. But it definitely seems like Vince K could. And that's another car that's just retired. Just like that. And that is some bad damage. That might be another safety car. Is that another safety car? It's right in the middle of the track. Nope, I guess we're just green. Okay, well I guess the FIA just doesn't care anymore. They're just going to allow a car in the middle of the track. On a track where there's no space to get out of the way other than to cut the corner. Which will then punish you. But Fiora did actually get overtaken by Jordan. Are we going to see any moves? It seems like there... No, there was not. But it's a very close on the uphill. But Jordan's not seeming to not let the pressure really get to him, but he did just tap the wall. But the battles going on here are interesting. There's a little bit of contact though between the two. A little bit of contact as we go around the hairpin. Late breaking move by Fiora, which actually worked very well in their favor, so I will commemorate that. Good job, Fiora, for that move. That was actually a pretty brave move. I don't think I could have even done that. So far, 7 drivers on the grid have retired. Most of them retiring due to terminal damages. A little bit of position swapping here, and there's a little bit more contact there from the Mercedes and the Ferrari. So there's a little bit of contact there. Is any damage? Yeah, these cars are really getting a little bit of damage, especially from Welsh. As you can see, diffuser's damage. Ooh, that was a good save though. Rear wings damage, front wing or front right wing is damage. These cars are just gonna be, they're gonna look like a jangled mess by the end of this Grand Prix. But we lap 30 out of 39, 9 laps to go. Vince K's tires are on 11 and they're still doing good, so he can definitely push all the way to the end. He may actually be pushing a little bit harder though, because I think it was on lap 9 we saw that his tire percentage was around, I think, like 23, 24 for the right rear, and now it's on 30, so he may have to settle down just a little bit if he is pushing. Fiora does get the fastest lap of the race of a 1:12, 2:15. So far, not really much else except for a little bit of a gain here from Tugger on Pastry Smasher. But Fiora is catching up to Vince K. The gap now at 3.5 seconds. It's clear Fiora does have fresher rubber, so they will be able to catch up quicker. A little bit more caution. What is going on? Okay, these seem to be. Well, we seem to be good for the most part. Not entirely sure, but the gap now down to a 2.8 seconds. So Fiora is definitely pushing. Yeah. Vince's tires are a little hefty right now. Fiora's are actually looking pretty good right now. Lap 32 out of 39. I am so gonna take a nap after this race. We have now we're now under 2 minutes from the gap between Vince K and Fiora. Right. Under the closest gap for right now seems to be the Mercedes and the Sauber. Less than 1.2 seconds now when it comes to these two right here. But remember, Fiora does have that time penalty. So that is something that should be taken into consideration. That time penalty will definitely screw someone over. But now Fiora in within 1 second, so he's gonna be able to get the DRS. And he does get the DRS. Does he have any battery? He has a little bit, but not that much. So he's not gonna use that much. But the gap closed quite a bit. Within 2 laps, the gap went from around, I think, 5 to 6 seconds to now under a second. And this is where we're going to see the struggles between old rubber right here, 14 laps old tires, and 5 lap old tires. Going on to the outside, it seemed like Fiora wanted to do, having no space. A little bit of slide there, hitting the back of Vince a tiny bit, tiny little love tap. These guys are not going to go through the tunnel. We see Fiora do a move here on Jordan at the end of the tunnel. Is it going to happen again? Doesn't seem like it. Fiora is way too far back. But Vince is trying to hold on as much as he possibly can from those tires to possibly see what he could at least extract out of this. Tugger, meanwhile, is actually closing in onto the Sauber driver. For right now, this is the battle we're really focusing on. Another driver who's now out of the race, terminal damage. Rocco is now out of the race with terminal damage. That is actually kind of upsetting. Rocco was actually doing incredibly good. So we are under, I'm pretty sure, VSC again. Once again, that is like a lot. So far, more than half of the drivers in this race have DNF because of terminal damage. Some drivers choosing to go into the pit. So now it's a full VSC. Now it seems to be a full safety car, so this is going to bunch up the field a little bit. And we are on lap 34 out of 39. Vince might... well, this safety car is actually going to save his tires quite a bit. This is going to actually allow him to preserve his tires. Fiora, on the other hand, doesn't need to preserve their tires because, well... 6 lap old versus 15 lap old. The difference is all there. But all this will do is add a little bit more pressure to Vince, who has been in the lead pretty much since the start of the race. Safety car won't be coming in this lap, so we may have it for another 2 laps, I want to say. But Fiora is going to decide to come into the pits, going to decide to go for another fresh set of tires. Very interesting. Trying to go for another set of tires, despite already having an advantage. The tires that are half as young as Vince, but still choosing to get new tires. Going on to these softs now. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens, to see how this is going to go. And to be honest, I'm actually rather interested to see how this is going to go. Ladies and gentlemen, lap 35 out of 39. 3 laps to go. It's going to be interesting to see if we'll have the safety car for another lap or what happens. So far, I have seen no warning that the safety car is coming in. But it won't always say at this point, or maybe it does. I'm pretty sure it usually does. It would say more of like right now when it was coming in. But so far we haven't had anything. Yes, we're definitely going to be under another safety car lap, as Vince is not going to be going into the pits, so he may not actually be able, let's say, he'll get P3, he'll be a P3 right now, and he'll be able to catch up. Is he switched to the softs? He's also switched to the softs. I was running P6 and then became one with the bear. Oh, damn. A lot of the drivers are stumbling over here in the hairpin. So the safety car is going to be in this lap, so there's going to be at least There's going to be around 2 laps of actual racing that's going to be going down. And I think, yeah, all the other drivers seem to be... Because we're on Vince right now, but he's behind the pack, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to overtake them once they cross the line. So now we are in green flag. We're back into green. The moment I switched over, something happened. I obviously missed it, which was rather unfortunate. But the gap between Vince and Jordan now being 3 seconds, and yeah, as I predicted, all the other drivers are gonna actually, all the other drivers are blue flags, so they're gonna have to let Vince overtake. But there's only gonna be 2 laps of racing, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. The top 3 are all on soft tires, but Jordan for right now is actually so far in the lead with an over 4 second gap. So it's gonna be interesting to see exactly how this will play out for the Alpine driver. What number is he? Oh, the number 21 Alpine driver. 21? Yes, 21. A little bit of contact with the wall there. But so far the gap seems to be building. DRS is now enabled, and that is the fastest lap now done by Jordan of a 1. I couldn't see the time because it goes by too quickly. Of a 1 minute, 11 seconds, and 1:11.517. Really good, actually. When it comes to penalties, though, lap 30 out of 39. So Jordan is going to have to somehow pull another 3 or actually 2 seconds if he wants to keep P1. Because at this rate, it seems like Vince K is going to be the winner of this race. If Jordan has not managed to pull another few seconds out of nowhere. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. Especially at this point in the race. Again, the only driver that does not have a time penalty is Vince. So whatever the verdict is, as long as he's within 6 seconds, he's going to get P1 no matter what. And I can just see right now Jordan is hustling. He's really trying to go as fast as he can to build that gap. But it seems like that gap is not actually improving. If anything, it's actually going down. But we're on the final lap of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Final lap of the race. So far the gap between Jordan and Vince is slowly going down, but also between Vince and Fiora is also going down. Again, all top three drivers are on softs currently. They are all on softs, choosing to do it at the last safety car that just ended 3 laps ago now. Either way, no matter what it seems like, Vince will be the winner of this because of the safety, because of the time penalties from both Jordan and Fiora. Little bit of a moment for Fiora right there. Tiny bit of a moment. Jordan's doing pretty good as well. But the gap between the two is just diminishing. See that there was a little bit of a spin for Tugger, but now he's back. He is now racing again. A little bit of a slide coming out the last corner for Jordan. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the Monaco Grand Prix. Jordan wins, but it is Vince who will take first place. And your top 3 drivers being Vince, Fiora, and Jordan, who put up a fantastic final battle for the lead. Absolutely incredible from the 3 drivers. As now everything will finish up, and Vince K being your race winner, ladies and gentlemen. And that was a fantastic flip by Vince K. ladies and gentlemen, that was the Monaco Grand Prix. Yeah. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Monaco Grand Prix. We hope you all did enjoy. Sorry for the commentary being a little bit quiet. I am very tired today. Let's check out race directors, see what happened. Yeah, quite a bit of track limits. A lot of track limits. Holy. But yeah, that is it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Chrono, the commentator, and I will see you guys next time. Probably for whatever comes next. I don't know the schedule here, but I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Peace out.